Su Zhenchang gave a speech in the company of his wife, Zhan Xiuling, in which he stressed that he would do his best to create a united party. In terms of DPP's cross-strait policies, Su said it needs complete and flexible measures, and he would restore the party's mainland affairs department while he doesn't rule out the possibilities of meeting the KNT leader. In a five-way race, Su obtained 50.47% of the vote by 163,808 registered members, with former Tainan County Commissioner Su Huanzhi coming a distant second with 21.02%. Followed by former Vice Premier Wu Rongyi, former DPP legislator Cai Tongrong, and former DPP chairperson Xu Xinliang. The turnout rate of 68.62%, an all-time high for the party, was better than the expected 50%. The four other candidates accepted their defeat and said they respected the choice of party members. Acting DPP chairperson Chen Ji believed that Su is capable of bringing the party forward and taking care of issues regarding to cross-strait exchanges and the country's interests.
After winning the DPP chairman election, a veteran politician Su Zhenchang called for party unity and said that he is not going to prevent or avoid cross-party dialogues. While KMT legislators believe such talks should have been held and praise that Su has a bigger heart than his predecessor Tsai Ing-wen, DPP lawmakers say it was President Ma who always puts up an attitude when it comes to cross-party talks, and they suggest instead of a meeting between leaders of the ruling and the opposition party, the administration should call a state affairs conference to encourage politicians across party lines to discuss issues openly for the interests of the country.
It is Su Zhenchang's second time to be DPP chairman. During a press conference, he commented on the issue of the highly anticipated dialogue between the ruling and the opposition, although he said he wouldn't prevent or avoid it. Many party members seem to have different opinions. Asked if he would meet Ma to increase cross-party dialogue, Su said such efforts should be made if it meant improving the life of the people. But if such meeting was just for a show, he would decline. Some DPP lawmakers said it would be more meaningful and practical to have a bigger state affairs conference than a Ma-Su meeting. While the ruling and the opposition party had different interpretation on the possibilities of the meetings, Su emphasized his efforts to restore the party's mainland affairs department to focus on the party's cross-strait policies. But DPP lawmaker Zhao Tianling said the party should hold a debate on the discourse of its cross-strait and diplomatic policies to reshape its vision. Although Su managed to beat his opponents and won the race, there are still many problems ahead for the veteran politician to integrate and cooperate with other party heavyweights.
The possible implementation of a capital gains tax has resulted in much discussion, and legislatures recently held yet another public forum to talk about the issue. They invited academics and representatives from the financial industry, the Chinese National Federation of Industries, and the General Chamber of Commerce of the Republic of China to give their opinions. The legislatures also used the opportunity to promote their own versions of the tax, showing that a common consensus has not yet been reached. And meanwhile, outside the venue, members of the Alliance for Fair Tax Reform and other groups expressed their support for the capital gains tax.
Many organizations gathered outside the venue where legislators had convened a public hearing to discuss the capital gains tax, expressing their support for Finance Minister Christina Liu and her proposed capital gains tax. Inside, representatives from the financial industry, academics, and legislators raised the possibility of blocking the implementation of the tax, as well as adjusting the stock transaction tax. They all had different opinions on the issues, showing that a common consensus has not yet been reached. The minister personally appeared to explain her viewpoint, admitting that the stock market has been affected by the uproar over this issue. Meanwhile, the media reported that several days ago, Liu had said that if she had known that the prices of fuel and electricity would be increased, she wouldn't have promoted the tax. In response, Liu clarified that this was not what she had meant, because if the capital gains tax is implemented, it will only take effect next year at the earliest, and tax collection will only start a year after that. In addition, Liu said she had known that the prices would be adjusted, but was unsure as to exactly when they would be changed.
Taiwan's analog TV signals are to be phased out, and it is completely replaced with digital signals starting May 7th in central Taiwan. Such signals are switched off on May 28th in eastern Taiwan, including Yilan, Hualien, Taidong, and outlying islands. And to protect the interests of the minority, the NCC gave away digital set-top boxes to 120,000 families last year. But newly eligible low-income families are excluded from such program. Besides that, some of the families in eastern Taiwan complained the blurry TV pictures from poor reception and hope the authorities can improve the reception in their areas.
Analog TV signals in Yilan, Hualien, Taidong, and outlying islands are completely switched off on May 28th and replaced with digital signals. Local community leaders in Taidong City went to the community to spread the news and reminding people to use digital set-top boxes to watch TV for now. But some low-income families in the community said the device they got from NCC was not working properly as the signals are poor. Although the NCC built 6 digital signal stations in Taidong County, some families in remote areas may still experience problems of poor reception given the geographical variation. But indigenous people living in mountainous areas of Taidong are able to watch satellite TV subsidized by the government. For those people who love to watch cable TV, they will not be influenced by the shutdown of analog signals if they have satellite TV or cable TV service. For the newly eligible low-income families in Taidong, the government's digital set-top box giveaway program ended last year, and it's too late for them to get it for free. Given so, the minority group hopes the government could also ensure their rights to TV access.
Directors from the top 10 journalism colleges issued a joint statement in opposition to the proposed merger between 11 Group and China Network Systems. The media experts cautioned that 11 Group's acquisition of CNS will create undue influence in the Taiwanese media environment.
Directors from the top journalism colleges have taken a stand in defense of the freedom of the press. They are opposed to 11 Group's acquisition of China Network Systems, which operates cable TV and broadband internet services. The Taiwan Media Watch said that the 11 Group's affiliate, China Times Group, accepts news placements funded by Chinese local governments and conceals the sources of information to deceive the audience and jeopardize the autonomy of news professionals. In response, 11 China Broadband said that they have answered all the scholars' doubts in the public hearings with 29 commitments and urged the acquisition be approved based on professional and rational arguments. The opposition petition was started by journalism department heads, including National Zhengzhi University's Lin Yuanhui and National Taiwan University's Lin Liyun and others. The scholars' joint statement warns that when the 11 Group's acquisition is approved, the 11 China Broadband and CNS will control vertical and horizontal cross-media resources to become a media monster in Taiwan. The scholars voiced their opposition in hopes of maintaining Taiwan's multiple media developments and the principle of market freedom for the press.
Dr. Xu Chaobing, a member of the Taiwan tribe, gave up a lucrative job with a high salary at a large hospital to return to his hometown of Daren Township in Taidong to practice medicine there. In order to achieve his dream of providing medical services to rural areas around the clock, he saw patients at all hours. In the end, he suffered a stroke due to physical exhaustion. Now, he is still practicing as a doctor, even though he is also undergoing rehabilitation.
Dr. Xu Chaobing listens intently as the patients explain their symptoms and then conducts a careful examination of their bodies. Several years ago, Xu announced a position at a large hospital to return to his tribe and hometown and practice medicine in a rural setting. Daren Township didn't even have a clinic, so Xu set one up and saw patients around the clock. He not only saw patients at his office, but also paid house calls at all hours of the day. The distance his car traveled along the mountain roads in 1 month was equivalent to 4 trips around the island, and he worked more than 400 hours a month. In 2006, Xu suffered a stroke due to exhaustion. The doctor says that in Taipei, there is 1 doctor for every 62 individuals. In Daren Township, however, there is only 1 doctor for the entire population of 4,141. He laments that in recent years, many young doctors have given up their jobs at large hospitals to go into the more lucrative practice of cosmetic surgery. Thus, he believes that the government should improve the situation via the national health insurance system and include treatment for serious diseases and emergency treatment among the items that are eligible for insurance coverage. If not, cities may also face a shortage of doctors in the future, just like rural villages.
According to statistics from the Ministry of Interiors, in recent years, around 17,000 children and teenagers were abused every year. In an effort to protect abused children, the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families has organized a 10,000 signature petition drive in Taipei City's Xinyi district, hoping to end child abuse through public awareness and support from the communities.
The skit showed that when parents are violent in the family, the children will learn from the abusive behavior and become violent towards other people. This kind of situations happens in real life as well. The Taiwan Fund for Children and Families has therefore organized a 10,000 people petition hoping to raise public awareness on the issue of child abuse. The TFCF nonprofit organization analyzed over 3,500 abusers this year and found that 1 out of every 5 abusers is continuing a cycle of violence as they were also abused in their childhood. The organization says that people can join in the petition through the internet before June 30th. TFCF hopes that the petition drive will form a social protective network to prevent child abuse and urges the public to stand up for children's rights. Early detection of child abuse cases can be intervened early to help guard the physical and mental health for all children.
40 teachers and students from National Formosa University's College of Applied Arts and Sciences are currently helping to transform Beishili community of Huiyue townships. They have drawn colorful designs inspired by the traditional art of paper cutting onto an outside enclosure. Their goal is to transform the entire 500-meter-long wall, serving 120 households, and so far they have met with a positive response.
The students toil under the hot sun using paintbrushes to decorate the wall. The facade used to be entirely white, but now it is eye-catching and mesmerizing thanks to the efforts of these students. Their designs have been inspired by the traditional art of paper cutting and include representations of the 12 Chinese zodiac animals, door gods, and auspicious animals, among other things. Residents of the Beishili community of Huiyue Township in Yunlin County had wanted to beautify the community, and so they enlisted the assistance of faculty and students at National Formosa University. The transformation of the community is thus slowly coming along, and the bright and eye-catching red and white designs have not only helped to give the village its own identity, but have also been met with approval from the residents.
It is the tradition in Taiwan for the graduating students to organize a banquet for their teachers to show their appreciation. Public school teachers should be careful, however, as teacher appreciation banquets before graduations are against the law starting this year. The Agency Against Corruption under the Ministry of Justice warns that before graduation, teachers may still be grading the students and a banquet could present a conflict of interest. All the students say that the new policy is just too much.
Just before and after graduation, students usually organize teacher appreciation banquets to say thanks to the teachers together with their classmates. Starting this year, however, public school teachers should know that student-organized banquets prior to graduation are against regulations. The Agency Against Corruption under the Ministry of Justice warns public school teachers and students that before graduation, teachers have a conflict of interest as they may feel pressured about student grades. The agency created a campus integrity management manual last December, which clearly states the limitations for teachers' appreciation banquets from kindergartens to graduate schools effective this year. All public schools must abide by the new standards. Teachers who wish to participate in banquets before graduation must report the event and register in advance. Most students feel the new regulations are too strict. The AAC says that the new standards, intended to protect the civil servants, serve only as a reference. The agency will only investigate when someone reports an offense.
National Park, located in saline coastal sediment habitats, has beautiful scenery. It is home to a rich ecological life. Combining cultural traditions and the resources of wetlands, this area offers one of the most unique ecological lives in the world. A beautiful mangrove tunnel unfolds before your eyes as the boat sails into a wonderland of natural abundance. The 4 mangrove species indigenous to Taiwan appear in abundance along the mangrove tunnel, making it a beautiful green paradise. Lots of history can be found here. The first canal of Taiwan was built right here as an important hub for transportation. It is not hard to imagine, with a detailed description from the tour guide, that along this canal was once a bustling commercial area. A historic site like this one is precious as it provides us with a glimpse of our rich historical past and proof of our ancient civilization. Here, chirping birds will welcome you, and a rich ecological adventure awaits you. You will also have an opportunity to experience how the locals fish. This generation's old wisdom will surely leave you in awe. Taijiang National Park is a place with a long historical heritage and a rich ecology. This vitality resembles the life and energy of Taiwan.
侨委会2012年中式面点制作班自即日起开放报名，有兴趣的朋友请向我驻外馆处或各地华侨文教服务中心洽询报名。
Welcome back to Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. Over 30 members of the Malaysian Federation of Alumni Association of Taiwan Universities returned to Taiwan to help celebrate the 13th presidential and vice presidential inauguration. In addition to the inauguration tea party, they also visited OCAC and met with Minister Wu Yingyi and Deputy Minister Ren Hong to discuss policies and benefits for overseas students.
Over 30 members of the Malaysian Federation of Alumni Associations of Taiwan Universities, led by President Li Zisong, returned to Taiwan to participate in the 13th presidential and vice presidential inauguration tea party. The group later visited the OCAC, where they were welcomed by Minister Wu Yingyi and Deputy Minister Ren Hong. Minister Wu, who strongly supports the rights and interests of overseas students, carefully answered questions regarding student rights brought up by the Federation representatives. Wu also recommended President Li to draw up a plan to simplify applications for overseas loans and insurance for discussion with the OCAC later to encourage overseas student entrepreneurs. The two parties also exchanged souvenirs, and President Li presented a plaque worded "Passionate for Overseas Students' Education" to the OCAC as appreciation for its long-term support for overseas students.
Electricity rates increase will start on June 10th, and this has increased the awareness of electricity consumption. To promote the concept of saving water and energy, 20-some volunteers built an old-fashioned dry toilet next to the ecological pool in Luye of Taidong, which offers tourists a convenient place to relieve themselves and a chance to learn the environmental benefits of energy conservation.
Before the peak travel season comes in summer, 20-some volunteers of the Yulongquan Ecological Trail spend time on weekends and holidays to help clean the environment and build a toilet together. After the 1-kilometer-long trail was finished, there hasn't been a toilet for tourists to relieve themselves. Earlier this year, the volunteers decided to build a dry composting toilet in an old-fashioned way. Instead of flushing with water, one would cover with dry material like wood ashes or rice hulls to absorb water and odor. Excessive wastewater is released into the pool. Such toilet doesn't require any water or electricity. Built with recycled materials, the toilet is completely environmental friendly and is estimated to be open for use before the upcoming Dragon Boat Festival.
Many items are available for purchase online, including wild animals. And some of these are exotic species which have been imported into Taiwan, while others are cats and dogs that have been bred by locals. The current law only governs rearing and breeding animals, and so there is no way to control the buying and selling of these animals. Legislators are thus preparing to draft proposals to amend the law in order to strengthen the protection of animals.
Many exotic animals are available for purchase online, including parrots and tortoises. Some have been bred locally, while others have been imported from abroad. The Wildlife Conservation Act only oversees rearing and breeding animals and has no control over the buying and selling of these animals. The number of online transactions involving wildlife has increased in recent years, and thus legislators have been spurred to amend the act. Meanwhile, some legislators believe that there is also a need to control the many businesses engaged in the breeding of dogs and cats, which are for the most part family-run. Thus, they have proposed that businesses that raise dogs for the purpose of breeding and selling them be required to have authorization from local authorities. In addition, the amendments will cover other areas that also need supervision, such as improving the quality of pet feed or preventing businesses from breeding female dogs to death.
Towards the end of March, 3 large-sized parrots died from pneumonia over a period of 8 days at the Taipei Zoo. The zoo representative says that the parrot holding area became humid without ventilation on rainy days, and due to abnormal weather and drastic temperature changes this year, the climate regulating mechanism in the parrot's area failed, and improvement construction is currently underway.
The parrot room inside the Taipei Zoo is currently closed. There were 9 parrots living here in March. However, a hyacinth macaw parrot fell ill in early March, was diagnosed with respiratory problems, and died despite rescue efforts. Soon, another hyacinth macaw and a blue and yellow macaw died from the same symptoms. The zoo representative says that a veterinarian has identified the cause of death as pneumonia. Due to recent drastic climate changes of frequent rain followed by blazing suns, the tent of the parrot room, originally designed to keep out wind and keep warm for the tropical parrots, became a hot and humid environment. The zoo has started improvement work on the parrot's habitat and closed the parrot exhibit till next month. Besides the 3 parrots mentioned, another rare parrot also died from peritonitis in March. The zoo also noted that all 4 parrots have tested negative for the avian influenza.
On the last day of this year's Taipei Tourism Exposition, travel agencies offered special discounts and promotion packages to boost sales. But the sluggish economy this year has driven consumers to be more conscious about their spendings. Most consumers pick short-stay travel packages over long-haul trips since the total price is much less. This phenomenon makes it harder for travel agencies to make a profit.
When the exposition opens for the day, consumers flood the venue as they want to get the best bargain deals available. On the last day of Taipei Tourism Exposition, travel agencies are going all out, shouting out low prices to get attention from customers and offering unbeatable prices, such as $7,000 NT for a 3-day trip to Hong Kong and $5,000 NT for round trip ticket to Singapore. Rising gasoline prices also reflect on the prices of overseas tour packages. Given so, consumers choose short-term travel to save money. While the visitor number of this year's event sets a new high, consumers are generally more conservative. Despite various promotions, travel agencies find it harder to make a profit due to the poor economy.
上幸福农庄，就是实践拥抱大地的心愿。幸福农庄是一个温馨的生活小站，但是它更大的魅力是这里拥有一片广大的稻田。农庄的女主人说，因为女儿的病，才考虑由都市搬迁到乡下，过着务农的生活。但是这样的决定却带来让人惊喜的收获。现在他们更把这样的生活心得分享出来，推荐给大家。
现在已经是做了10年吧。那不过呢，一开始是从女儿的生病，可是越做越了解到农业或者吃的东西，环境对人的健康非常有大的关系。所以我就觉得这个是我一定要做的事情。人类吃得很干净、很健康的东西，当然会健康嘛。那健康的东西是怎么来的？是健康的土地。所以我们跟土地要多多学习。
For many multinational businesses looking to operate in Taiwan and China, professional consulting services are usually a must. On the next Taiwan Outlook, we'll have Mr. Michael Boyden, who's the Managing Director of Taiwan Asia Strategy Consulting, to discuss the kinds of services that are provided to multinationals and also what's Taiwan's niche in an increasingly interdependent world. I'll see you on Macroview Television.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the exhibition events. And that concludes today's Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. Thank you for watching. Wishing you a great day. See you tomorrow.
水是一个充满历史的小镇，最早接触西方文化，有许多的古迹，还有感人的马街故事。淡水是一个美丽浪漫的地方，粉红的樱花盛开，夕阳下沙滩漫步，还有浓浓的艺术风情。淡水拥有多元的风貌，适合度假，也适合闲逛。带你发掘不可思议的淡水魅力。